Okay, guys, we are live. It is Dave's LFC Chats, and I've got an absolute legend with me. He's been with me from the very start, going back 4 or 5 years at this stage. It is, of course, Jack from Anfield Road TV in the house. We're going to chat Henderson. We're going to chat Romeo. Romeo, where art thou? Romeo Lavia. That's what we're going to chat about. We're going to chat about other stuff. Maybe even UFOs at the end, Jack. You just don't know.
I'm looking
for floating objects. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Maybe we could get a DM that could be an alien. We know Messi's an alien anyway, so he's out of this world. But yeah,
my God,
I'm looking forward to that little chat because we were saying before we come on air, mate. I love all my alien stuff, and
I tell you what, we need a few aliens transported into the midfield. We need them to be brought into our midfield. We really do. But look, I want your view, and guys in the comments, hit the like, hit the share, show us our love, show us your care, give Jack some love as well on Anfield Road TV. Link will be down in the description. As you all know, Jack, at this stage, we used to be the dynamic duo. We used to be like Batman and Robin.
We'll be getting back to that very soon, mate, in the
Starsky
future. Yeah. No, we'll be
Zippy and Bungle.
Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, lad.
Zippy and Bungle. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. But look, David Ornstein, of course, is the one. Look, we're all waiting for this Lavia, Romeo Lavia, the 19-year-old, of course, Southampton. I can't believe he's only 19. I've seen some of the clips on YouTube for Southampton. He looks unbelievable. He's a Belgium international. He's a pocket of energy, but he's got everything else, Jack, hasn't he? He's really got everything. We're going to mix this, guys, between Henderson and Lavia, so it doesn't matter which way it works, but we're going to just be fluid on this one. So get your comments in, and as I say, hit the like. All the guys are in. So Lavia, Jack, it looks like it's, second bid went in this morning. It could even be accepted as we hear, but have you heard anything different?
Not at the minute, mate. Obviously, I've done a show yesterday, and I think everyone's under the influence that a second bid has very much gone in. I think it's interesting enough that it hasn't instantly been rejected. I think there was a lot of talk yesterday that Chelsea were supposedly sniffing around Lavia, and David Ornstein and Fabrizio mentioned that yesterday in their tweet. So I think that if that was the case, I think Liverpool were quite actively behind closed doors wanting to get the deal over the line as quick as possible, because you know what Chelsea can be like. They're bloody desperate for anyone, really. Nice one for that, Mark. But yeah, he's a tremendous talent, mate. I think statistically, when you look at Caicedo, I think he's in the top ball recoveries and all the defensive stats that you want to be looking for.
I mean, stats are ridiculous.
Yeah, Lavia is that second player below Caicedo. And as you said, David, 19 years old, he ticks a lot of the boxes, and he's the future, could be the present for Liverpool's DM as well. But certainly one that would very much excite me, probably excite you, and excite all Liverpool fans. I know a lot of people, David, I don't know how you feel. Everyone goes, he got relegated, but let's not forget.
Nothing to do with it. Robbo got relegated.
Robbo, Shaqiri, like the players that we brought in.
Nothing to do with it. Yeah. Can't blame a 19-year-old and he's getting relegated. He'd one of the best seasons. As you said, his stats are ridiculous. He's right up there, top 3, top 4. I think he was even forced in a lot of things. But I mean, it's not that. It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, for a 19-year-old. If it is 45 or 50 million plus add-ons, whatever it is. But obviously, you're buying a 10-year. You're not buying a project, Jack. I don't think he can be called a project player. I think for 40, 50 million, you're buying a player that should be in your starting 11 or very close to your starting 11. Straight away. None of this project business, none of this, we talked about it, the ready-made meals from M&S. That's what we want. We want ready-made. We don't want long cooking 4 or 5 hours in the oven. We want them ready to rock and roll. And he is, if we get it over the line, hopefully we hear more. We could even hear something while we're live, but we know it's close. I'd say it will be done the next 24 hours or so. But we need more than that. We need more. I mean, obviously Fabinho looks like it's, that could be done that could be done literally anytime. You probably see him kicking a ball around with his team like we did with the strange situation. It's even more strange than the UFO whistleblowers yesterday in Washington. Jack, Jordan Henderson, I mean, it's a bit of a weird one. I mean, he's brilliant for us. I think it was 8 trophies he's won if you include a Charity Shield, which I don't really. So it's 7 real trophies. But, I mean, he's been unbelievable for us. We know all about it. He came in as a young lad from Sunderland, and he had a crew of fans that absolutely hated him, probably still hate him to this day, and probably even hate him more now that he's left and stuff like that, and feel betrayed and stuff. But I, for one, like the fact that he almost left and played for Fulham, but basically, pulled up the sleeves, got stuck in,
Turned it around,
lifted number 6, lifted the first Premier Leagues, in what, 31 years, FA Cup, 2 League Cups, Club World Cup for the first time, all these things, all these accolades, did lots of charity work as well. I have no issue with him at all. Saudi Arabia has issues. We all know the issues there. We all know the sports washing. We all know the human rights and stuff like that.
So do our own countries as though, mate.
Well, every country has human rights problems.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Even our country's bringing in some crazy laws at the moment. All over the world. But every country has a problem. But maybe Saudi has a little bit more than most. But what I'm saying is, he's got to look after his family, number one. They've got to be number one. I do the same. Family's number one. That's as simple as.
Yeah, I'd be the same, mate. I think, obviously, but it's just about... It was a difficult situation, and hence why I think the club waited at least 24 hours to announce the deal. I know officially from the official Saudi club, Etihad, obviously, I think it's Etihad, that's who Fabinho's going to, and Etihad is obviously Steven Gerrard, obviously the announcement today with the picture that come out. It was a bit of a mad one, Dave. Obviously, I think you see my video yesterday with Connor, and it was quite... not me concern, but it was just the way the whole transfer sagas.
It's been a bit crazy.
Played out, really. I would have liked to have seen it have done a bit more better, but at the end of the day, it's done now. It's boxed off. As you said, Dave, I love him. All of us love him. As you said, he's always had that certain sections of the fan base, even when I've been going to the ground over the last couple of years. Even like go back 10 years, there was him, Lucas Leiva. You'd always have certain players, even Gino Wijnaldum had sections of the fan base. And it's understandable. You respect their thoughts and opinions on a player, but what this lad has done, Dave, he's run through a brick wall, and he's decided to go. And I tell you what, he might come back to England, and in another year, if it doesn't turn out the way it only takes Steven Gerrard to get sacked, and then possibly Sunderland, if Sunderland get back in the Premier League, I think that's where the end of his career end up, really. I think if Sunderland got into the Premier League last year, if he didn't get knocked out in the final, in the playoffs, I tell you what, Henderson would have been at some captain, probably Sunderland in the Premier League. But yeah, all the best to Hendo. We all wish him well. We love him. He's done absolutely everything and above and beyond. And I spoke to a couple of people when I'd done my video yesterday, coming off the back of it. I was asking Connor, on the show, did he feel emotion from his video? And at that time, I didn't. But looking back on it, he had to be very careful from a PR perspective in terms of what he said and whatnot, as you've alluded to there, mate. So hence why it was scripted, because he had to say the right things in the right moments. Yeah. We know the modern day footballers are very PR trained, and which is needed in today's society as well. It only takes a little interview, and a journalist's job is to very much get a story, get a headline out of an interview, mate. But we all wish him well. I think he'll do extremely well. He's exactly what Steven Gerrard wants. He wants a captain. He probably will be the captain of that football club, and it's about getting the ambition of that club and getting them to win trophies as well. And but Jordan has been very much the figurehead at Liverpool Football Club for numerous years, and he's done a tremendous job.
But the other thing, I mean, look, it's been a bit chaotic, Jack, for the club I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about Henderson. I'm talking about all the guys that left, the likes of Naby, the likes of Ox, the likes of Arthur, Mello, you know what I mean? Area 51 type. But I mean, there's been so many that have left, we can go through them. Fabinho looks like he's basically 99% gone. I mean, Milner, Bobby Firmino, the experience of all those players leaving in one bloody window. There could still be another one to go. Who knows? And okay, we replaced them with Slobosile. He's unbelievable. He's a bit of an injury at the moment, a bit of a mystery injury there. Hopefully, I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah, no, it sounds all good now, miss.
We have him, Big Mac as well. McAllister looks a really good signing. And of course, hopefully, all dreaming, next 24, 48 hours, Romeo Lavia will be in. But I still think we need more. And that experience to lose in one window is something that needs to be addressed. I still think it's a little risk, Jack.
Yeah, I'd agree and disagree, mate, in terms of, I'd agree. you look at Milner, wasn't going to get in Liverpool's starting 11. Hendo himself. That's why I think he got Jürgen, as he said in his interview today, Jürgen wishing Hendo well. He said, like, even in the good and the bad moments and the disagreement, he sounds like he's had arguments. Yes, he would do, because he had to have difficult conversations with Jordan, like a lot of these players that have left Liverpool. It's interesting that the club, by all accounts, not an official, but it looks like the club have overruled Jürgen in the last 12 months in terms of contract negotiations, really. Big up there, Doug. So,
boy.
like, it's interesting that the clubs took a more of a strong viewpoint, which is understandable. I think we all love Jürgen, but I think he just needs to focus on the football. Let the people around them do the contract negotiations as well. Because at the time, I was 2 years ago, I think every Liverpool fan was saying give Henderson a contract 2 years ago, but I don't think any of us anticipated the absolute drop-off in form with him and Fabinho as well. Yeah. If you would have said to anyone that Fabinho, 12, 24 months ago, form would have dissipated off a bloody cliff within a matter of 12 months, I'd have been like, are you mad? He's one of the best six he was at that time when he was playing at his top form. Fabinho.
Oh, he was probably the best in the world for about 2 seasons, possibly 3 seasons. Jack.
Him and Rodri were superb. And one of the main reasons to why Liverpool was so successful, alongside Henderson when he was at his top peak form. Yeah. But as he said, with the new players coming in, it's a new look Liverpool, a new phase of Liverpool. The both of them, especially Szoboszlai, if no one's seen a lot of him. I've had a little look at the data before he moved, and he's a physical player. He's a player that loves to track back. He's got an absolute engine on him as well. So same with McAllister in terms of his ball recoveries. That is exactly what we missed last season. It's what Henderson used to do well. Fabinho used to do well. And it wouldn't surprise me. I know a lot of people are saying Liverpool might go back to that 3-box-3 formation, but it wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool continue playing with the 4-3-3 formation. I know we changed it at the back end of last season, Dave, but
yeah,
I don't know. What do you reckon Liverpool might potentially go with the 4-3-3? But it's having Liverpool.
I think it's about options, Jack. I think it's numbers as well. At the moment, we don't have the numbers. Remember, we're in the Europa League. The Europa League takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of players to even get through. Let's say you play a slightly weaker team, of course, in the group stages, and you play a stronger team as you go through last 16, last 8 into finals in Dublin, as we all know. But you need players. We've a few young players there as well. I still think we're 2 or 3 players short. Now, hopefully, Lavia comes in, but we still could be 2 or 3 players short, even when he comes in. You know what I mean? We were short when all the players were there last season. When the likes of 6 or 7 players left, we were saying, geez, we're short here, lads. And no one had left. You know, we were certainly short 1 or 2. Now, what is it, 6, 7 players leaving? What are we short now? You know what I mean? That's my problem, Jack.
I think the one, and as much as probably, as we were saying with Henderson and Ginny, there's sections of the fans that absolutely despise Curtis Jones and respect their opinion, but Christ, the lad wouldn't even be still at the football club if he didn't have any quality. I'm expecting a big season, and I'm not saying just thrust it upon Curtis Jones, but when you're losing that experience, as you alluded to there, Dave, it's up to the senior players now, the young senior players. You look at the eyes will be
Elliot as well.
Elliot. I'm looking at Trent as well, though, mate. He will be. He already is a senior figure in terms of the captain group as well. So a lot of trust will be getting put on Trent. It's up to him now to step up. I'm pretty sure Hendo would have had the conversation, and if you haven't seen, well, we've probably all seen the interview Trent and the players give, but Trent's very close with Henderson, and that was quite evident over the last couple of years as well. Took him under his wing. Curtis said he got the cockiness out of him, really, or whatnot. Took him under it. So that's what Henderson, that's now going to be Trent's job now, to get the likes of Elliot, get the likes of Curtis, get them focused now. I know Curtis is 22 years old, but he's still young in footballing terms. But I'm expecting a big season from him. I'm expecting him to step up. Especially Thiago, Dave. That's one of the biggest question marks going into this season. If he can stay fit, he's a massive asset. But if
no one's mentioned Thiago, you know that?
Yeah.
I know there was a little rumour of a Barcelona or possibly even a Saudi trick, and it still could happen, Jack. You wouldn't know because of his injuries. I mean, how available will he be for Liverpool? That's the big question. how available will he be? Will you get 30, 40 games? Will you get 30, 25 games out of him? I don't know. And nobody can tell you, when he's fit. Wow. Young Piasetic as well. After bad injury, he's coming back in. An unbelievable first season. Obviously, near the end of it, got that bad injury. Let's hope the injury doesn't become a recurring injury. That type of way, and he grows out of it. Young Ben Doak, of course, is going to be a huge...
I'm excited for him, mate.
Yeah, he's going to be huge. He is going to be absolutely huge. But you can't put huge pressure on him either. I say you get games in the likes of the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Europa League. He might be an impact sub. 10 feet, because he's heads down. He's one of the old school, like you'd play on the road when you're kicking the ball on the road. These fellas that used to do overhead kicks on the concrete. These fellas doing overhead kicks, getting bruises all over them. Real old school, and that's what I like about him. But he's young as well. Tyler Morton, is there. I think Tyler Morton's gone back out on loan. Is he? Connor Bradley's a big one.
Connor Bradley's just got
Connor
a new
Bradley
contract.
Is a new 3-year contract. I think he's going to be in around the first team. I think he's going to be in there.
Yeah, it was interesting against Faith. He played that inverted role alongside Trent. I was speaking to a couple of Bolton fans, got a couple of Bolton mates last season, and they were extremely proud of him in terms of how well he developed. Obviously getting player of the year, their young player of the season as well. So they were very impressed. Hence why the club, as you said, mate, is first proper adult contract, senior contract for Liverpool. So yeah, he's capable. He's played that inverted role. He was more of an attack, and I'd say he's in that Bolton back. He was playing a back three, but it transitioned into a back five. Anyway, he's playing quite high up in that midfield. So he's got that about his game. He's got that technical ability to come into that middle of the park, playing that inverted role that Trent does as well. So options are plenty, no mates. But it's even better, and it saves the club along. I know a lot of people, and even me included, would like to go out and get everything sorted in the transfer market. But today, like, the modern market is an absolute farce. Like, in all honesty, 50 million for Conor Gallagher, Dave, no chance. And that's what Chelsea are wanting. And this is the market you're buying into. Certain situations, you can't always get everything in the market. Like Levi Caldwell, I've spoke about him. Like me and you spoke over the last couple of weeks. Everyone has, but Chelsea not going to let him go because Fofana's got injured, that ACL injury now. So yeah, and you're looking, their price tag of him is like 80 to 100 million. Talented player, but
crazy.
Ridiculous.
No,
ridiculous.
It's gone mad, Jack. But I mean, I think Liverpool, the 2 or 3 windows they've missed have come back to haunt them. And they're doing too much in this window. It's like a backup. And there's too much to do. They've let loads go, which is unusual. They let a lot go free. They've let a lot of players go free. Arthur Melo was a mistake from the start. He went and he was only on a year contract. I think it was 3 or 4 million in wages he paid over a year. It was crazy. But that's gone. Even the likes of Ox, Naby, Bobby. I mean, gone for free. Quality players. Okay. Ox and Naby injuries. I mean, I think Naby's injured again. I mean, just ridiculous. I pity him. I really do. We all want professionals to be playing football. Of course we do. But it's absolutely beyond a joke now at this stage. And for
lot of that is mental for me. Like, I look at that, mate, and you look at Daniel Sturridge as well.
Yeah,
like,
psychological,
it's all in the head for me with Naby. Like, at the end of the day, play through the pain barrier. Like, in all honesty, and that's probably what rattled probably a lot of the Liverpool technical stuff. It done my head in. How many years, Dave, did we say in the 3 seasons? Big season for Naby. We got to like the 4th, 5th season. We're like, oh my God. Like, come on. Naby.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, I think the mistakes in the window, and then you're looking at, oh my God, all these guys are going to leave. Most of them on free. You're not going to be able to recoup much money coming in. There's a few injuries. We need players. And then, we got quality, McAllister and Szoboszlai, and also maybe Lavia. We keep talking about it. Let's hope this one gets done. I mean, I know Chelsea are sniffing around, but let's hope that's done. But we need more than that. And the guys are flying out today to Singapore, I think, for the friendly on Sunday against Leicester and then Bayern Munich. Then we come back for a friendly at Deepdale, I think it is, against Darmstadt, I think the German side. Then it's rock and roll. Chelsea, Pochettino at Stamford Bridge, and it is not going to be easy. Plus, Jack, the news of the Anfield Road end will not be ready till early October and will be at reduced capacity for the Bournemouth game, 51,000. I knew it wasn't going to be ready. I mean, you could see the pictures. There was no way they were getting that ready.
Yeah, that was a bit mad, mate. Hopefully,
It's shambolic, to be honest. I think the whole team.
Yeah.
Do you not think?
The whole club in the last,
bit.
the whole club in the last 12 months, mate. Like when we've done shows and every Liverpool fan, like something was wrong, something was staring in the background, wherever that happens, and obviously it seems to be like an emergency meeting every single week for Liverpool. But it's up to the players now to actually take some responsibility. Klopp knows. We know Jurgen's good enough to manage Liverpool Football Club. He's a serial winner. We love him to bits, but come on, lads, like. You looked at the how many times last week they would have learned so much. Hence why I think Jurgen probably lost his patience with certain players in that team. Hence why a couple of them, well, the majority of them have gone. That I think we all wanted to move out the football club. Like now, like everyone, certain sections are moaning that we're losing too much, but it's like the players that we've lost is the players that every Liverpool fan would have said, yeah, move them on, needed to have gone a couple of seasons ago, mate. But I'd agree, mate, and as Chat's alluding to, a centre-half, I still think we need, but I think all of us, we want Jurgen Klopp to be in the best possible shape. We want these players to be in the best possible shape. You had Ali, you had Van Dijk, you had even Ibu when he was on his holidays in the last couple of weeks saying Liverpool needed to spend, we need help. And hopefully the owners do back Jurgen, do back the lads, and put us in the best possible shape. Because you look at Man City as well, though, mate. There's a couple of departures. I think Kevin De Bruyne is.
Kyle Walker might be going to Bayern ahead today. Did you see that one?
Yeah, Bernardo potentially as well.
I think there could be a window there for the fact that they won the treble last year. You know, there could be that little ease off. You know what I mean? Especially in the league. But the big thing for me, Jack, is you've got to start well in this league, as we know. And that's a tricky game at Stamford Bridge, no matter what way you look at it. They're a little bit all over the shop as well. But they've a new manager. Pochettino's a good manager, of course. He'd be looking. I mean, you start badly that first game. You know, you Bournemouth then at Anfield the following week. It's a tricky. You know, every game's tricky in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong. But we've got to start. If you want to be on the coattails, everyone else is building. United are building. Spurs are building. Chelsea are building. You know, Arsenal are building again. City are City, basically. Let's be real. You know what I mean? So there's just teams there. We've just got to be in around them. And we need quality. And I'm a little surprised. Klopp did say back in May he wanted most players in by the time the pre-seasons came around, for settling in, for loads of reasons, for, you know, tactics and stuff like that. And the fact that he'd only have 2 in, maybe 3 if it's a late Lavia type trick, you know, really late, go to Singapore. I think he wanted more in, Jack. I think he wanted another 1 or 2 in before he went to Singapore. That's just me. Maybe a centre half. I still think we need a defender. I looked at some of the defending in the pre-season. Now, I know you could say Gomez and you could say Matip. I think Matip is not the same player as he used to be.
He'll be gone next year. With his
but that's what I'm saying. I think we need a centre half in. You know, we really do. Plus another midfielder. But who do you think for the captain? I know, obviously Henderson's gone. There's a few people that could get it. I think Van Dijk could be in the top 3 to get it.
He's next. I think
he might get it. Van Dijk could be the next one with the experience, and especially as a centre half, you can see everything in front of you. Usually, it's good to have a captain that can see everything in front. You know, like an orchestra, a composer from the orchestra, rather than being behind or up front. So I think VVD probably gets it from me.
Yeah, like obviously look at the big Ron Yates, legendary captain.
Hansen was captain as well for a while.
Yeah, Emlyn Hughes as well. Hendo was a long-serving captain since 2015. So, yeah, you need to be the right personality. And thankfully, as we know, Dave, all of us know, we've got captains aplenty in that team. I know it didn't help us last year, but I think we would have learned a lot from each other. As Jurgen says, you learn the most, like in life, you learn the most in your difficult moments. And that's how you overcome them makes you even stronger anyway. And I think I'm hoping we do have a big season. I think, and as you alluded to there, Dave, I'm hoping that we do. If City do drop off, we are that team. Not a case in point of a Man United, or I'd hate it if United just crept up and won the league, or an Arsenal. But bloody hell, the pressure's on them. But in terms of the captaincy, mate, I'd love it to be Trent. Gerrard was at a similar age in terms of the way in which he took that captaincy off Big Sammy Ipria. I think it was like 2002, 2003 season. So, yeah, I'd love Hendo. we all probably anticipated the V-Virgil van Dijk, but I think with the longevity in terms of this being a phase 2, it would make sense for me. You look at McAllister, Trent, Szoboszlai, all at a similar age, and you'd like the captain to grow with the team.
Szoboszlai is the captain of Hungary, I think, at 22.
Yeah. Hungary, Robbo's at the age of 29. Van Dijk's 31, 32 years old. Not to say that
you could say Alisson too, but I think Van Dijk would be, I think, my pick anyway, you know. But the other thing is, Jack, and as I said earlier, the age profile, as DHTV is saying here below, our age profile at the end of last season, when you look at the squad, well, I'm not saying geriatric, I'm not saying it was too old, but it was certainly one of the older of the top 6 teams. You need energy, you need youth.
Look at Arsenal,
you need a mix of experience as well. Of course you do. That's how you win things. You rarely see teams win out and they have no experience. Although, remember that United team of kids that Alan Hansen said, you won't see kids winning. That was a case in point. But what I'm saying is the age profile with all those guys leaving and those younger lads coming in, McAllister and Big Bad Dom coming in, the profile's gone down. Lavia comes in at 19, profile's down again, starting 11, profile's right down. And I think it was very important for us to do that. I mean, Klopp's 3 years left, and it looks like he probably, hopefully stayed at 3. We'll see what happens after that. But I think this is a huge season for Liverpool. We cannot afford to be in Europa League next season. I think 2 seasons in Europa League is stagnation. You've got to move forward. I take top 4 right now, Jack. I just take it right now.
Yeah. And this way it comes back to you. It always comes back to the owners as well, though, mates. Like, obviously, everyone was impacted with COVID over the last couple of years, but let's not forget, and we all know Liverpool's starting 11 was probably one of the best in the last 5-6 years, even better than City's in certain elements. But what City had was squad depth, hence why they got 6 titles or whatever they won. No one really cares anyway.
It was the bench. It was the bench. Quality
the
of the bench. Ridiculous bench. With the 5 sub-rule, Jack, that came in. You know what I mean? You could change half your team.
Yeah, and you look at Arsenal as well. I loved watching Arsenal when I wasn't watching Liverpool last season.
Yeah, good to watch. Good side to watch.
Proper football inside. They reminded me of a young Jurgen Klopp when we were playing our tip-top form. And they've brought in Gabriel Jesus, obviously Zinchenko as well. They did bottle it. I know we've got a lot of Arsenal mates ourselves, Dave, but they did. But they would have learned so much from last season's. And this is where Liverpool now needs to go in a bit. Arsenal, sweep them aside and focus game by game. Pick up there, Ravi, mate. But yeah,
we are all excited, Ravi. Don't get used wrong. We're trying to be as positive as you can. We've a new season incoming. Hopefully, more players come. We're going to be super excited, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll, aren't we, Jackie boy?
Yeah, results change it, mates, and lads and ladies as well. Like, if Liverpool can get on a run, and that, especially if City don't start well, they'll be all looking at each other. Like, they know exactly what they're going to get from Liverpool. Well, let's not forget, we won on such a run. Was it 11 games? Was it unbeaten or whatnot? Like, it was the consistent run. Obviously, the year before we won the Premier League, we went in a very similar mode, if everyone remembers. Obviously, winning the Champions League, but in the league, it was a similar run, and hopefully we can take that momentum into the new season. But I think I'm intrigued to see how Szoboszlai, mate, Dave, but I think McAllister will be, if we can get a proper DM alongside Trent or whatnot, I think McAllister's going to be the missing piece of the jigsaw that we have desperately cried out for the last 5 to 6 years anyway. I think he's a special player. He's got that right attitude, World Cup winner, but I did watch quite a lot of Arsenal and Brighton as well. But McAllister was very special. I think he's the player that we've missed. He could potentially be our Kevin De Bruyne-esque type player. I know it's big not comparing those players, but in terms of the impact Kevin De Bruyne did have on that Manchester City team, I think McAllister will have something similar.
Nigel's heading home, safe home, my friend. We've got to get Nigel on. He's some great thoughts and insights on LFC. 7 wins, 4 draws. Was that what our finish for the season? Is that what we're talking about? It was a good finish, and I mean, to be honest, we weren't that far away. We I think the run was too late. If we would have had that run 2 or 3 games before we had that run, that type of thing, we might have pushed United. Who knows? But Klopp is what it is. We're in Europa. We're in Europa, Jack, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, Klopp was saying about that. I think he mentioned it this week. It was like, he was just saying, if Ibu put that ball over the line, a bit more of experience from Ibu, just throw something at it, like get at it. But I think if we won that game, I think we would have got top 4. I know mathematically we needed a couple more wins, but I think that was the game and would have really carried us on even more of momentum really. But yeah, it's all about going again, Reds. That's what we've done in the last couple of years. That's what Jurgen Klopp's turned us from doubters into believers. We've been doubting last season, I think every Liverpool fan, but let's
We
get
got to
behind
believe
the
again,
lads.
guys.
Yeah,
We got to
got
believe
to
again.
be getting back up
Look,
there.
once Klopp's there, there's belief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Klopp goes, I'm sure there'll be sort of, that will really, I mean, Henderson left, a lot of people crying on Twitter and whatever, but when Klopp leaves, you won't see me for a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be proper, like, you know.
Proper sabbatical from all of us, really.
As well, we have to say, Sinead O'Connor, of course, passed away yesterday. Nothing compares to you, of course, Sinead O'Connor being an Irish singer from Dublin. What a singer she was, Jack. But very sad, only 56 years of age. Rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, and I absolute icon, really. Obviously, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, but she done quite a lot of the music for the Lord of the Rings series. Not the terrible series that is on Amazon, the proper movie series.
I think that was Enya.
Oh, was it Enya? Oh,
I think that was Enya you were talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting confused.
It wasn't Sinead O'Connor, no.
Oh, yeah, but what a legendary singer, anyway. I think, didn't she play out Conor McGregor in one of his fights? I think I've seen Conor McGregor tweet something last night as well. But yeah, sad news. Thoughts go to the family and everyone.
I mean, yeah. Look, I mean, it's crazy. You know, we've lost some legends over the last few years. I mean, obviously Michael Jackson and George Michael, David Bowie, Whitney Houston, Prince, Sinead O'Connor. I mean, the list goes on. They will not be replaced. I know you can't replace people, but legendary status is thrown around very easily now in football and music and in art. But we're talking top tier level, legendary level. I hear it too much in the Premier League. I'm sorry, lads. I'm old school. Most of them are not legend. I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen. You know, legendary is legendary and will never be beaten. Now, legendary, you have to do certain things. There's criteria for legendary in everything. Sorry, but there is, and a lot of them don't mean it. Just doesn't. Upper tier is in. Niall is in the house. Mendes, fight the foggy Jew. Chad Mendes, fight the foggy Jew. Niall from the Upper Tier. Check out the Upper Tier, another great YouTube channel in the house.
Yeah, that's the thing with like the music though, Dave, and even like artists or whatnot. It's about like the impact they've had on like their craft as an individual. It will be remembered for the next 100, 200 years. We live, as we all know, in this era of like when you get a vinyl or you get music. We've got Spotify and that. It'd be interesting to see what music's like in the next 100 years. But like I think we're all fortunate to live in an era where if you're an artist, you will be obviously encapsulated. Not like you're born in the 1600s and your music probably has been forgotten anyway. But now you are fully imprinted in, especially the music scene as well. Now,
yeah. I mean, Doug is there. I think Doug and his wife have COVID, far as I know, and obviously she's expected a baba. So. Just be careful there and hope you get well. I'm sure you will be okay, but you know yourself, just be careful.
Yeah, look after yourself.
Good luck, Jack or Doug. But slap the likes. I like that. Slap the likes up and subscribe. That's a new one. Hit the like, hit the share, give us a sub, show us you, Kerr and Jack on Anfield Road TV as well. We're not going to stay on much longer, but we're just filling in the gaps. Henderson's left. Fabinho is close. Lavia, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo?
I'm open, Dave. I'm open, Dave. One comes left as well. I'm open. One comes from the left of field from Fabinho, where it comes out of absolutely nowhere. Some like player that we've not really anticipated, and it would, as we said, mate, just then the last 20 minutes.
Shame that Bradley missed out on the Asia squad. Seems like he might be leaving on loan. Oof. What? Don't
probably
think so.
Back to. As he, well, I don't know.
As far as I know, he signed a new 3-year contract. I think Liverpool like him. I mean, it's cover for Trent, really, isn't he?
Yeah. Hence why Thiago hasn't gone, Bacchetic haven't gone. Like, even if Bradley, if he's picked up a slight knock, I don't think the hierarchy don't want to be testing, especially Jurgen. We don't want to be, especially this close, as we said, this close to the Premier League season. Don't be, just keep them all at
the fact that Calvin Ramsey went out on loan. You know what I mean? Yeah. Was a strange one, I thought. Do you not think, Jack? Unless they have this thing for Conor Bradley or have a right back We've been talking about Gravenberch, of course, from Bayern Munich for a long time. The fact that he plays right back and also plays right-sided centre half, he actually fills two holes in one. You know what I mean?
I think you're getting confused with Timber.
No, Gravenberch.
Gravenberch, he's a central midfielder, but he can.
Oh no, hold on, hold on.
Yeah, you're getting
about.
Timber, the lad that went to. He's Dutch lad anyway. But yeah,
he went to Arsenal.
Yeah, not Gravenberch.
You know what? I always said
there's that many Dutch.
I should have thought he should have went to Forest.
But yeah, no, but like no, it's. I think even Gravenberch would love him. He's a midfielder anyway. But I think we spoke to you over the last couple of years. Like Joe Gomez, biggest predicament in this squad. Like he's fully capable, Gomez, of playing well if he can be.
Yeah. Trevor Francis passed away, and Chris Bart Williams, Jack. I remember Chris Bart Williams, Sheffield Wednesday. Jack has to go.
I'll be back now.
No problem. Jack has to make the dinner there. But Chris Bart Williams passed away, and Trevor Francis. I think he was the first £1 million player ever, first £1 million player in the English league, and he passed away. He was only young as well. And I mean, Chris Bart Williams, I remember him playing for Sheffield Wednesday in the 90s, banging in the goals. So just crazy times. Dave, Jack, I had a question for you both. If you could answer, please. Okay, let me have a look. Where's that question? Where was the question? Put the question back in, Ravi.
Right there, boys. Sorry about that. I'll take the
Ravi has a question for us.
Pick up there, and
I can't see the question, but anyway, maybe put the other question in, Ravi.
Yeah, put it back in there, Ravi.
Put it back in because I can't scroll back, you know.
Yeah, as you were probably saying there, Dave, the depth in those wide areas, the centre back, a right back position as well. As I was saying, Gomez, he's capable. I think we only just recently gave him a contract last season, anyway. But he only had one good game last year, and that was against Man City. And then
there's still a question mark, Jack. Yeah. I'm afraid to say on Gomez. And the thing I will now, obviously, he's an English contingent, which helps him. I think helps him. Yeah. I think if he was foreign, he'd be gone because the fact he's English, you need a certain amount of English players in your squad. And he's utility. He can play centre half. He can play fullback. So, and I know Klopp likes him. But I think they'll keep Gomez for the very fact that he can play in one or two positions. But I just think right now where we are, and the boys are on the plane probably watching this, Klopp, if you're watching, we need 2, possibly 3 players. We need 2 more players, probably even in midfield, including Lavia, one of them, plus and a centre half, I think, at least.
Especially one of the senior main players, like bloody hell. Like we had it last year with Ibu. Obviously, it was that game, the Strasbourg game, and he went down. I was like, oh my God. Knew instantly as soon as he went down, it was a bad one. And like, we know that I always go back to that Champions League final against Real Madrid. He was a man possessed. That was probably one of my favourite ever players I've watched from a centre, like especially a centre half playing. Like he was literally playing on his own at moments in that game. I love him. I love the lad. He's got great personality. You'd love to go for the bevy with Ibu because he's one of the lads.
He probably doesn't drink. I don't think he drinks. But anyway.
No, most athletes don't anyway. But he's one of the lads anyway. Top fella. He's got the right personality. And
did you see him doing the wheelies? Did you see him doing the wheelies in Germany? I was getting worried to get injured.
The All-Star. Could you imagine Naby doing that? Oh bloody hell.
Biker, grove, biker.
It's the scouseness there rubbing off on all the lads anyway. Kate,
I know, it's crazy. Looked like they enjoyed themselves, and most of it's that. I know it's conditioning, and they do a lot of running. It was very warm there, and that's all great. It's lovely. Get ready to rock and roll from mid-August, but you need a bit of crack as well, don't you? You need a bit of crack, bit of fishing and whatever they're doing, you know. It's the joining. It's like, I'm not saying it's like a stag party, but it's like all the lads going away.
Getting together.
Getting to know McAllister, getting to know them, Dominic getting to know them. That's what it's all about as well, Jack.
Yeah, 100%. It's like getting that right camaraderie, the chemistry, really. And I think for the lads that played last year, like all of us, we were disappointed, but I think it more will just, hopefully we see that in the first couple of weeks, as you allude to, mate, we go on a run, because they won't like seeing City win that Champions League. I know I certainly didn't like watching them win the Champions League. That done my head in. But it was inevitable. You would have with all that money spent. But Liverpool will get back to it. Considering the quality in the season Champions League, wouldn't surprise me if City went on. They should be really winning that again. Back-to-back Champions Leagues, because you look at the likes of Lens coming into, obviously from the French League, being out of the Champions League for a very long time, and certain other clubs in, like, even in Pot 1, it's like, come on, even Arsenal in the Champions League. But it's going to be interesting, Dave. We've done countless shows over the years of defending Klopp, but like Newcastle fans to Arsenal fans going, "Oh, Jurgen's making excuses." Watch Eddie Howe and Mikel Arteta start coming out with these excuses, and their fans going, "Oh, we've got injuries because we're playing Champions League." Well, welcome to the real world.
Well, you have to look at Arsenal last year. I was impressed with them for the fact that they went far in the Europa League, and Thursday nights are not easy when you're fighting for the title against City. It's not easy. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? That will give them something. And they've added with Rice and stuff like that. They've definitely got strong. I think they're stronger now than they, plus the experience of last year will have held them.
Pressure's on though, mate. They've spent a lot of money. Like, it was like 300-400 million under Arteta, or like close to $500 million. Like they now, like, with all that money spent, I think he's a good manager, Arteta, mate. But it's going to be intriguing. I think a more competitive league helps it. If Liverpool in a title race, how many times have we seen it being a title race and you're like, come on, someone else win against City other than Liverpool or whatnot? It's like, and I think I'm excited to see Aston Villa, mate, and chat. I think they've made some tremendous signings. Moussa Diaby as well, that right winger from Bayer Leverkusen, tremendous talent. Made up that he didn't go to the Saudi League anyway. He's actually went with Sens and went with Unai Emery. Pau Torres, a great centre-half signing from Villarreal as well. So he's a talented coach. Wouldn't surprise me. I have a little flutter in terms of them potentially sneaking into top 4 next season. I think they might, if they keep fit and keep Watkins fit and everything, I think they are probably one of the outsiders for the very much getting top 4.
Do you know the Brace Deville is saying, sorry if we've missed, but any word on Fabinho? The Fabinho one is weird, Jack, how that has not been signed, sealed and delivered. I mean, some talking about his pet dogs. Apparently that was just complete and utter bullshit. Yeah. But I mean, that was dog day afternoon. That was bullshit. But I mean, what's going on there? Is he maybe I heard they're waiting on paperwork or something like that to be signed or sent over, or what is going on there?
It's very due to the newness, I'll say, the newness of the league. They are very much behind in terms of, with all this money, it doesn't get it experience straight away. I think they're very new to transfer negotiations, a lot of these Saudi clubs, and it's very evident, really, hence why the tactic currently, even look at Marco Verratti. I think they've spoke to Verratti already, and they've got Verratti to say that he wants to go, and before they've even spoke to Paris Saint-Germain, which is mad. There's a lot of dodgy dealings going on anyway. It's all this money. But I think it's Etihad, the club that are wanting to get. I think they got some, I spoke about on my show yesterday. They announced that they've got some certification now. Obviously, I don't know if it's his club, Fabinho's, that he's going to, or some other Saudi clubs did get blocked in certain elements. I think it's Ronaldo's team because they haven't paid certain other clubs. I think Leicester is still waiting on payments from a certain player. I think it was Musa, the Nigerian striker that used to play for them a very long time ago.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a bit mad, but
it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah, Tiny Legs Tony, who must be related to Shaqiri, is saying Liverpool to win one more league in 3 seasons. I hope you're right. I hope we win 3 leagues in 3 seasons. Let's be real. We don't want Liverpool. We want Liverpool winning games. Yeah, we want. Do you know what is the key for me, Jack? Right, we need players. Of course, we need players in. We need quality in, not just any old player. But the key for me is our away form next season. Our away form last season was unlike Liverpool. It was not Klopp-like. It was not Liverpool-like. Our home form was pretty good. Our home form was Champions League level. I've been saying it all season. Our away form was Championship level. So we need to get our away form as good or close to our home form, and then we've got a chance. We're going away to the likes of Forest and losing. Brentford are a good side. Brighton were a brilliant side. But we're going there worried. We were worried doing the pre-match, post-matches, weren't we? When did you worry about Liverpool going away to these teams in the last 2-3 seasons? You didn't, Jack. You didn't.
It was,
but there was no energy in that midfield. And you could see when the team was picked an hour before kickoff, you could see Twitter explode. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And you nearly preempted the result before the game. So key for me is two things. One, quality in the door. And two, the away form. Tighten up at the back. And, first 10, 15, these early goals killed us.
It all starts from the defence, though, mate. I know, we spoke about it quite heavily in today's episode, mate, but defence. How many times when we won the league a couple of years ago, and even when you watch City, I know it's difficult, but they are the barometer, really. They are the team that you need to beat to win this league title. Liverpool need, I'm hoping with Szoboszlai and McAllister, have a lot more control within a game. How many times did we see just Liverpool just lose the ball in the halfway line and then we get absolutely sliced open with one ball, and then the defence is extremely disjointed, really. Alisson, great that, I think. Him and Salah, where would you be if we didn't have them yesterday? But Alisson getting man of the match every single week should not be a thing.
That can't last forever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
He should be making the sign of a very top elite level keeper, as we know Alisson is he saves one world-class save, or the first. You look at Van der Sar, look at Cech, even Pepe Reina when he was getting those 2 golden gloves when he was in tip-top form. Alisson as well. He saves it one save every game, and that wins it as well. But it's defenses win titles, and for every top side they have done.
But do you know what it is, Jack, as well? As you said, I mean, top class. Alisson, best goalkeeper in the world. We all know Brazilian number 1. But when he's getting man of the match and saying, "Oh my God, only for Alisson," great save near you. I don't like that. I know John Ochterberg probably loves the saves and stuff, but we all, the goalkeeping coach, and they all go brilliant. But the defensive coaches are people that are looking at a defending going, well, shouldn't be getting that many chances. A top team, and not against the top teams. I'm only against the mid-table, lower-end teams. The teams that are maybe fighting relegation, he's pulling bleeding saves off. That was the worry for me last season, and that's why we lost so many games and dropped so many bloody points away from home last season. And that's for number one's got to stop. That's got to stop.
You look at
Ravi has a question for you. I don't know whether you want to ask it or answer it. Question: which player in midfield will benefit playing forward? Well, I mean, Big Dom and McAllister for 2. Are 2 straight away.
Yeah, I think I was doing shows with Kev as well, and he's mentioned Kev from the Kitmen, mate.
Yeah.
Even mentioned Gakpo, and it was interesting that Jürgen did utilize Gakpo in that more deeper lying midfield role against Faith. He's certainly got those technical abilities, but as you said, Dave, before, the more options Liverpool have from an attacking sense as well, the better. The more unpredictable, really, Liverpool can be, the better it's going to be for. But in terms of the running statistics, we were absolutely shocking last year. As I was going to say, mate, before, with that Fulham game, the first game of the season, the amount of times Liverpool got outran by everyone's midfield and team in general. That's not
the
a
alarm
hallmark
bells
of a
were
year.
going off. The alarm bells were going off. I mean, remember the Charity Shield, the 3-2 win against City, the Nunez goal and stuff like that. Everyone's going, here we go. It's
loaded into his false sense of security.
So you just don't know, and I wouldn't take too much out of pre-seasons either, to be fair. I really wouldn't. I remember years ago, we used to lose every bleeding pre-season.
Kenny and Rushy were losing their pre-seasons, but and they were winning league titles and Champions League. So
I wouldn't read huge amount into it, but we do need players. That's what I am reading into it, and not just any old players. We need quality position players that are starters. Not players that can sit in the bench and might come on last 10, 15. We need players that can play 90 minutes, Jack. We need players that can go away on a cold November night in Brentford or in, Luton Town, you know what I mean? That can literally get stuck in, put the foot in, stop play. Above all, keep clean sheets, keep clean. We were letting in goals for fun last season, and we were needing 3 and 4 goals to win games. You win nothing doing that. We've got to tighten up at the back, seriously.
It's the simple transitions as well, though, mate. Obviously, the team works on, even throw-ins, like even when I was in the ground last year, very fortunate enough to be there, and you're looking at, little transitions, and especially in the wide areas as well. We know Liverpool played with such a high line, but we know the midfield to very much utilise that high line and be as very effective as it is, Liverpool's midfield needs to be spot on. I'm hoping the two lads, and if we can bring Lavia and an extra midfielder in, that I think will be great. It will be good. The athleticism of Lavia, the athleticism of Szoboszlai, and McAllister as well. They've got legs. And I'm hoping if we can string it, but you don't want to be hoping and fingers crossed. There should be a case in point of, we're bringing in quality, which we have, but you can never be, your squad can never be too good. There's always room to improve in every element, even in the 70s and 80s. As good as that team, there's always one player that you could have brought in to even win even more. So I'm excited, mate. I'm raring to go. But it's up to the players now, up to the coaching staff and everyone really now to get back to basics, start doing everything on the training ground and figuring out if there is difficulties along the road, which there will be this season. Get it done.
Hit the like, guys. Hit the like, hit the share. Let's go. We've 20 people in. Jack, another question here from Richard Huntinson. How many games will Szoboszlai, McAllister and Lavia, if Lavia signs, of course, get next season? I think McAllister will be one of the first names in the bloody team sheet.
You don't spend... Yeah, McAllister, Szoboszlai, they are going to be the two. Yeah. Especially Liverpool play with that three box three formation. They'll be at the two, at the spear in that midfield. So, they'll play a lot of minutes, mate.
But I just think we know it's a huge season. We're in the Europa League, not where we want to be, Jack. Maybe a bit of humbling is good for us. We can get a few players in the back door and just get ready to rock.
It's the trophy that Jürgen hasn't won, Dave. And Chas, he hasn't won that one. Obviously, we got to the final of the League Cup and the Europa League in his first full season, Jürgen. So it's the one that has evaded us. And obviously, I tell you what, it's in Ireland, Dave, and at that final. So all the Dublin Reds and the travelling cop will have.
I'll be like at home. Listen, Jack, it's not an easy final to get to.
No,
everybody's saying, it's in Dublin, Liverpool. You have to earn to get to the Europa League final. It's not as strong as the Champions League, but it's not easy either.
I think we can use that tournament though, Dave, in chat to use it as not a practice ground, but in terms of Liverpool start going on, whether Nunes, especially if Nunes isn't getting the starting straight away, but if Nunes is banging goals, whether that be Ben Doak in the starting 11, the lads on the peripheral of that Liverpool team can very much force their way in. And I think it will be a great way in terms of building momentum. Obviously, the League Cup's very difficult. You probably play the kids, but in recent years, especially last season, we played quite a lot of the senior figures as well. But
I think this season he'll go back to his tried and tested, ease off on the domestic cups, Jack, for the very reason. For the very reason we're trying to get back into the top four. It's a different scenario. You know what I mean? We cannot afford to be out of the Champions League next year. Now, you win the Europa League, you're in the Champions League anyway. There's another bonus for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think this season's huge for Klopp himself and his project that he has going forward. But we need players in the door, and I'm hoping Romeo Lavia is in the door by tomorrow.
I tell you what,
or even the medical anyway.
I tell you what, Jorg has flipped the whole.
Big Jorge,
Big Jorg. He's done the job.
I won't even pronounce his surname because it's like schematic or something like that, is it?
Schemacher. Apologies if he's any German native speakers watching, but I'm not the best in terms of pronunciations. But he's done a tremendous job. I think it's interesting that Liverpool brought and Jurgen Klopp brought someone in that he goes to concerts with, he's very close with, but I think Liverpool needed that outside, and Jurgen Klopp in particular needed that outside view. So someone to come in that is probably watch Liverpool from an outset, but someone that's not internally being friendly, to say the least. Jurg's probably turned around to a lot of those players and went, even Henderson, going, you're not going to be getting a lot of minutes. What are you going to do, Jordan? We've got a couple of options. You can go to Saudi, go to Sunderland, or you would have had a lot of...
you can take 700,000 a week at Saudi, or you can go to Sunderland for 20 a week.
Because, and Jurg's turned round, and a bit of roughness really was spoken, and that was needed because it was a terrible season last year. Obviously, you can be sentimental in certain elements, but let's not forget, Liverpool need to get back to winning ways and quickly as well, because the Premier League is very forgiving. As we've seen, you can be out of the Champions League for 1 or 2 years, and it's even harder. You're looking at 4 or 5 years to then get back into the competition as well, whilst other teams round you strengthen. So Liverpool will hopefully get back to business.
I seen the question in there from Carl earlier. Where do you think Liverpool will finish? But I think it's too early. There's so much stuff,
Still a long
work
way
to
to
be
go.
done, transfers for all the other teams that we're up against to do. I think that question can only be asked when the window bloody shuts, Jack.
Yeah, it's going to be massive. I'm intrigued to see where Saicedo goes as well, though, Dave.
Don't worry, I'd love him to come to Liverpool. Imagine him and Lavia.
Bloody hell, that's if we're all being greedy. I think if you asked him, he'd be like, yeah, I'd love him as well. But if we loosen the purse strings, maybe. But I think we're living on cloud 9 if we did get him. We would be on cloud 10,000, Christ. He would elevate our chances of winning the league by tenfold.
I can't see it personally, but you never know.
Yeah, but I'd say just take it game by game, mate, as we've always done over the years. I think you go by form, and if we go analyse the game, disappointing, but winning breathes confidence so much. If we start picking up points, it elevates and catapults Liverpool. As we know, Liverpool and City can very much go on a 20-game run if needs be. And that's the concerning thing for the other teams around us.
Yeah, see, so I think Klopp, as he said back in the end of last season, that he'd be on the phone most of his summer holidays, taking phone calls, big Jorge, whoever the agents are, and Dave Fallows and Barry Hunter and all the scouts at Liverpool and stuff like that. So let's hope his phone is being rung when he's in Singapore or whatever. I just think to stay in that battle, that top 4 battle, it's not going to be easy next season. It wasn't easy last season. We weren't hugely far away that a lot of people thought we were. I just think the away form was so bloody bad, Jackie. We fell off a cliff with our away form. And our home form was not bad at all. But our away form, we never controlled games. You know what I mean? There was never a moment where you could sit there, even at 2-0, and say, right, put on the kettle, it's over. It just wasn't like that. You know what I mean? There was no control. The intensity had gone. The legs had gone in a few players. So I'm just hoping the freshness, and hopefully the freshness to still come in, will give us that bit more of an edge, especially away from home.
Yeah, and even when at top Liverpool form, Dave and chat, Liverpool played our best football was when we controlled games. Yeah. And even in our good moments, but it's about redeveloping that now with the new lads in. They are controllers. They are very technical, gifted players that dictate the momentum. You look at, I've done a lot of the live streams and watched a lot of Argentina in that World Cup. And the fact that Messi was so trusting in a young McAllister, that says a lot about what Messi thought about how technically gifted and the quality that McAllister does face. He was almost a little ginger Messi anyway himself. He looks a bit like Messi, but Macca, I'm excited. He's got all the attributes, but I know I keep on mentioning McAllister, but just thinking about him in this Liverpool team, and even Darwin as well. No, we haven't mentioned Darwin.
Big season for Darwin Núñez. Look, even Jota, we missed Jota we missed Luis Diaz, and we missed Darwin. I mean, Darwin wasn't quite at it. Diaz was out for half the season, and Jota was out for half the season. I mean, you've seen what Jota can do. Jota will score goals. He stays fit, gets a run, he scores goals. Luis Diaz, lovely finish in that friendly, if you've seen the first goal in off the post. And I mean, Darwin, I just think Captain Chaos will cause chaos if he can stay fit and just keep his eye, get us finishing up the scratch. It's all about confidence as a striker, Jack. Yeah.
You
know what I mean?
You look his career though, mate, and chat, in his career, it's always that second season, syndrome, as they say. He's always kicked on and elevated. And I think the one thing that all of us Liverpool fans around the world will critique a player after a bad performance, but what we don't do is continue to slander players. We get behind the lads, and we will allow and facilitate Darwin to have time. I'm not. Then again, the majority of us are going to be those fans that write off a player after, people, the modern social media, people are writing off Gakpo. I was like, what are you watching? He was doing absolutely excellent.
Gakpo's being a great find. Gakpo's been a plus. Gakpo's been a plus.
Gakpo's £100 million player right there, and then we got him for 30-40 million. His technical ability, he's got everything good in the air.
Big lad, isn't he? Big fella.
And
he'll only get better and better, Jack. I've no issues with Gakpo, but Darwin now, it's a big price fee. This could be his year. This could be the big breakthrough year. He gets 20 plus. I think he's a 20 plus goal man.
Yeah, easy 20 goals, mate.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and that's going to even benefit the likes of Salah as well, the players that we've mentioned there, mate. If all of them, and bloody hell, what is it? If Liverpool are playing well, and what other teams. When we won that league, you looked at Liverpool, were like, they'd always look at the clock. And what I'm hoping this season, we start off quick. I've missed those quick 20, 30-minute spell of a game where it's heavy metal, it's gunno, it's everyone pressing to a man, everyone doing the job in the Jürgen press or the Jenner press or whatever you want to call it, the mental football. But let's be the unbearable team. Like when we go to these away grounds, we absolutely annihilate them in the first 20 minutes. Be on their throat.
Like we used to.
And then you get to the 60th minute mark, Dave, and the opposition teams and the fans are going, Christ, they're bringing on Jota and Darwin or McAllister or Curtis Jones who's in form, and you're like, bloody hell, like this is going to be difficult. Big up there, Corvo.
Corvo and Newcastle United, of course, is in the house. Corvo, a big season for you guys as well. Big season for everybody, of course. But, they're in the Champions League. First time in a long, long time, of course. How are they going to cope? You know what I mean, Jack? Big season.
Yeah, good to see it in here, mates. Obviously, following on my channel as well, mates. But yeah, I'm Corvo. I haven't spoken to you in a while, mate. But are you happy with your? I've got a couple of Geordie mates. I don't think if you asked them, I don't think Eddie Howe would be happy with the business he's done. But I think obviously with financial fair play, it's not like when City got taken over or Chelsea got taken over. There's legislation in place and there's rules now where you can't just blast $1 billion on a squad. You need to do it the right way. But Eddie Howe, tremendous manager. The biggest one for Newcastle, Dave, and the Newcastle fans was getting the right manager in, and he very much got that with Eddie Howe. He's a young, experienced manager now. I love him as a personality. He's got. Have you seen the interviews that Eddie Howe's done with Jake Humphries and the High Performance podcast? It definitely check that out, Dave, or anyone who hasn't seen him. But he's got great characters. Jürgen, not Jürgen.
Jürgen Howe, was it? Jürgen Howe.
Jürgen Howe. But yeah, I love Newcastle as a city as well.
I remember a lot of people actually saying when he got the job, how did he get the job? But I mean, he's definitely
he's defied
done the job there. Yeah. I thought he was more or less coming in with the big project in the Saudis that he would have been like a transitional manager just to get them settled, and they're probably a year ahead of themselves, getting top 40, probably planned for next year, the type of way. Yeah. But let's see what happens. Big season for Harvey Elliott, of course.
You haven't even mentioned Harvey as well. Oh, there's so many. I made up even the lads Curtis and obviously Harvey winning the under 21s championship a couple of weeks ago as well. That'll give them the boost really, and obviously it's so much quality in this team. But as you mentioned, Dave, and chat we've mentioned today, get the defence sorted, get an extra midfielder in or two. Will be grand, I reckon.
Fellow weirdos. What spider? I think Spider's been smoking the spider web, has he? He's been on the spider web too long.
There we go. He loves an elaborate entrance, as does
He's
Kev.
probably in Spain or something watching this from some Irish pub.
Yeah, big up there, Kev. How are you, matey?
There's Spider's channel, guys, in the house there. Spider LFC in the house. Hit the like, hit the share. Show him some love. Show him you care. We're not going to stay on much longer, Jack. We will finish this on a little bit of a weird X-Files type thing. I don't know if anybody knew yesterday, but UAPs. UFOs are called UAPs now, by the way. From Twitter is now called X because everything is changing and nobody seems the same. Remember, Kane? Everybody's changing, but everybody's changing. But UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, used to be unidentified flying objects. But I don't know what he's seen. The testimonies at Capitol Hill yesterday? That was just absolutely crazy stuff, wasn't it? The aliens are amongst us.
I watched. I'm not sad. I'm not sad and that weird and everything. I watched the whole 2-hour briefing from the governments as well. Like it was mad. They're going to be getting like testimonies as well from when you've got RAF pilots like that fly around in multi-billionaire aircraft and they're reporting to their like senior figures as well. The fact that it's scary as well if you can think of there's more of an intelligent species. That the humans are the most intelligent species.
There's not that many not much intelligence on Earth. That's all I'm going to say.
You won't find a lot on Twitter, and I'll include me as well on that. But if there's a bigger force or like a bigger, could you imagine? Like it's mad. People that can like a certain life
But
form.
you know what I mean, Jack? It's scary no matter what way you look at it. It's a famous saying. What is it? If we are alone, if humans are the only species, intelligent species in the universe, that's a scary thought. But if we're not, that's even scarier.
Yeah, it's like when
Do
you
you know
look
what
at
I mean?
ants, like when you look at ants as well as a colony and like as a creature, ants, they're like in their own bubble. We might just be in our own bubble in terms of the world, and then we could be just
West
aliens.
Ham
Be
are
like,
in a bubble.
yeah, the aliens or whoever it is going like, we don't really want to into that because they're absolute mad.
Yeah.
In all
No,
honesty.
look, it's crazy, and a lot of it got, you know, I mean, if true, I mean, there's obviously caveats there, and who knows if it's true, not true. But even to be talking about it under oath, as they say in America, you know, on Capitol Hill, I thought was great. It was on CNN, it was on all these other channels. It wasn't just a conspiracy.
I just don't get how
conspiracy theory, you know.
I just don't get how like it's not like global news. Everyone's just like,
it is global news, but it's sort of like niche news. You know, I've been following it for years. Until
we see like Tommy the alien come out of nowhere with Bill and Ted or something or whatever, in the middle of like Anfield, like that's when the news. What is it like? We have some like Martian landing, like.
To be playing the Champions League final in Mars in about 20 years. I did a video of that from Bob from the future, remember? 2082. Bob from the year.
Messi, as I said,
he was watching the Champions League final. I think it was Shamrock Rovers against Accrington Stanley Champions League final in 2082. I'm a time traveller as well, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Messi's an alien anyway. He's from another planet.
He's an alien. He is out of this world. You're absolutely correct. No, I just thought it was unbelievable. We do a video on this again.
I love it. We'll definitely have to just do an UFO night, Dave. I'll tell you that. We'll do
UFO night. That would be absolute. Elon Musk Stadium.
I'll be wearing my tinfoil hat as well, mate. I'll be wearing
the X Stadium. The X marks the spot stadium. Guys, do you know what? We're going to leave it there. Hit the like, hit the share. A lot more content to come. Jordan Henderson, Liverpool captain, has left to go to Saudi Arabia. Fabinho looks like his bags are packed and following him. And, of course, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo, Shakespearean midfielder, hopefully on his way into Liverpool soon. Liverpool are flying out to Singapore for a friendly on Sunday against Leicester and Bayern Munich. Jack in the house. Jack, have you much coming up on Anfield Road TV in the next? I'm sure, you're always live. Let's go.
Yeah, might do a stream with you tonight, mate, or you'll usually have the short, or there's always something on the channel anyway to have a little gander, mate. But yeah, I love doing the shows, mate. We'll be getting crack-a-lacking on them in the next couple of months anyway, getting back to what we used to do anyway. And I look forward to that, mate. And yeah, always a good laugh. And Anfield Road TV on all socials, mate. But yeah,
links down in the description. I'm sure you all know who Jack is, of course. There's loads of people in tonight. Spider LFC and Upper Tier, all these great. Doug from Dugout Football Channel, all great channels. You know all about it. Lot more stuff to come. Let's hope Liverpool can get players in. I want experience. I want ready-mades. I want guys ready to play football. We've lost a lot of experience, Jack. We need a bit of experience. We need quality above all. We need to get that away form sorted out.
Yeah,
Let's go. Enjoy the season.
I was going to say, don't bring up Kev's comment, but I've just that's what I'm laughing. Don't bring it up. Whatever you're into, Kev. I'll just say that. Leave it at that.
The gloves are on, baby. The gloves are on. Guys, stay safe. Talk soon. This means more. Have not said that for a while. If UAPs were really here, do you not think they would have made contact by now or attacked us? They're all black op craft created by us and the Americans, etc. That could be true, Panoff. Yes.
Future humans.
Back engineered. Yes, absolutely.
Future humans. You never know.
It could be us from the future, yeah. If time travel is possible. Apparently it is. It could be us from a few hundred years already coming back. Hopefully give me a few scorelines.
Do we win the league this
season? Next season.
I was going to say.
Bob from 2082 might make an appearance. Guys, stay safe. Talk soon. Cheers. Jackie, cheers, mate.
In a bit, lad.